was a 21-year-old student at Indiana University when she co-founded a company of unique print publications. Tonight, we are going to learn how a fuck-up led her and her co-founder to nearly destroy her business. Please give it up for Adrian.
Hello. Good evening. Still not an alarm. Okay. Is this close? All right. Well, first, what is your problem? What is your problem? Okay. Okay. Am I good now? Okay. Good. Um, First, I just want to give a shout out to the amazing events organizers of this evening, and close friends, Vito, Cash, and Leo, as well as everybody else at Hubood. Yeah, girl, I see you. And when they asked me to speak, I was like, oh, it's September 21st, and my birthday is tomorrow. So, what better way to kick off celebrations than tell a room full of strangers one of your biggest failures in life? Like, that's exactly. So, we're going to get started here. Oh, my fonts don't work, so surprise. That's okay. Oh, okay. Okay, now we can talk now. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about how one like small mistake literally almost cost me my company. So how it all began. I'm from Indiana. We went to Indiana University, and I make a joke here a lot about how I traded cornfields for rice fields. So I was there. I was studying journalism and marketing, and met my co-founder Evan. And Evan and I were both in Greek life and fraternity and sororities, and we saw that no one was really talking about the things that were going on in our community, things that we cared about. So we decided, why don't we start a print publication? That's a great idea. Literally the same week that we decided this, the headlines of New York Times, Boston Globe, Chicago Tribune is, thank you, Mickey. I'm about to eat this microphone. It said, do not start print publications. Print is dying. We're cutting pages. We're firing staff. But Adrian, go ahead and start a paper. That's a really great idea. So we did. Within the very first week, it took off like wildfire. We had campuses from neighboring universities that were asking how they could start Odyssey at their campus. And we had, by the time that we were ready to graduate, we had 4 publications at 4 universities. And these were all unique, 16-page, full-color papers. So we're sitting there in my kitchen table trying to figure out, we're about to graduate. Are we going to stick with this or get real jobs? Because that's what our parents want us to do. And we're like, nah, we're just going to do this because that sounds like a better idea. So we graduate. 4 days later, we move to Indianapolis. And we move into our new office. And we are so excited because what would you expect in a tech space in a brand new office? Come on. This is volunteer participation.
Ping pong table.
Thank you. Ping pong and like sweet chairs and like fireball, a bar and like nice glasses, like just so swanky, right? Nope. We moved into a bagel factory, an actual working bagel factory. 100 feet from my desk was a hot tub size of honey. It regularly smelled like apple cinnamon. Bagels fell off the truck. We were often the taste testers for the factory. It was kind of wild, but we loved it. We loved that it was scrappy. We loved that we didn't have air conditioning one summer. It was 95 degrees. And we were just following something that we loved. And like Tiago was saying, like we working 18 hours a day, just like hustling. And we're hiring more people. And we're getting to so I want to fast forward to year 4. Because once we graduated, we had 4 publications. Then we had 18, then 27. And then in year 4, we're at 33 publications that are completely unique, printing every single week during the year. We have more than 500 people around these campuses writing things that they're passionate about. And then we have 15 employees. We're starting to get major traction in our community, in the press. We are having stacks and stacks of papers. Not the kind of paper that I wanted at the time, but papers. And then we closed our first 6-figure client. And we're just like killing it. Obviously, America, there's Fireball on that bus, by the way. And just having like the greatest time. We're loving what we're doing. We're loving the people we're working with. So it's about this time that you would cue the fuck up, right? So we had this thing that, Chris, you're going to really appreciate this. We had this thing that we were taught in school. get the 4.0, have the best internships, get the best experiences, land the best job. And so we took that same principle that we were taught and used that for our hiring set. So we only hired people that had the 4.0s, that came from the best universities, that were 10 years older than us and had all this experience in the company. And we started to see this shift where the culture started to get really odd. We were having to really fight with people to get basic essentials done. There was water cooler talk. There was even secret lunches to talk about Evan and I, okay? So it got to the point that Evan and I didn't even want to come into work anymore. Think about this. You've worked for 4 years, blood, sweat, and tears type of MBA. You've worked 80, 90, 100, 120-hour weeks. You're taking no pay, and you can't even fathom coming into work anymore. That week, we went from 15 employees to 5. 10 people were fired or quit, and we're in the middle of our production season. So the remaining, we had 4 people on the executive team and a lovely designer that was still with us today. But we had the 4 people. We literally locked ourselves in a room, and we were trying to figure out what the hell happened. We followed all the basic structure of business. We hired these smart people, and what we came to figure out, it was the culture. We did not hire for culture, we hired only for skills. So this was our fault. As much as I would like to blame the other people there, it was our fault. We were the leaders of the company. We did not identify, we didn't lead. So we spent the remaining of the weekend essentially locked in this room to figure out a way that we can build a tangible culture, something that was institutional, something that we can continue. So we came up with a list of values and principles and actually put together an Odyssey code of culture. And it was a 6-foot tall, 4-foot wide board that sat in the office. And it contained things like work on yourself always, loose lips, sink ships, make the client is our priority, your work together as a team, like things that are basic principles, but that we had just forgotten. And that dictated everything for the future, from hiring to firing to whether we took on a project. And we didn't only just do that institutionally, like inside our full-timers, but I was still, we were finding ways to bring that culture to the creators and to our sales team on all these campuses. So I was even writing notes on a weekly basis to our team to remind them of the mission, to tell them how excited we were about their success, and to keep it going. And so we started to really see some progress. And one really big moment for us that we saw that really meant a lot to us was that we raised some money, which is always nice in business, especially when you're eating a lot of PBJs. So we raised $2.4 million in convertible debt, which means that we didn't lose equity, but we had some things to kind of pay ourselves. And we also got to move out of the big old factory and get this sweet, swanky tech office, which was nice. And we started to continue to focus, though, on the culture. We had this money, so we ended up opening an office in New York. We started hiring a ton of people to help further the business, because at this point we had only done print, and we were making the shift to being an online platform as well, because we wanted to service more communities and give more people the opportunity to share their voice and things that they're passionate about. So, apologize for this small print, but if you don't have your glasses on, we had an employee that nicknamed our culture Squadacy, and it started to be prevalent everywhere. We started doing morning cycle rides, we did retreats, we were going out for dinner and drinks on a frequent basis, we were hiring this team of interns that was all based off this, and our interns were crying when they found out they got the internship. We had really established this culture of that we were fun, we all enjoyed working together, but we're still making progress, we're still hitting our deadlines, we're still hitting our numbers. So it wasn't an either or situation. So now we get to fast forward 2 years later to April 2016, and we have we've focused solely on the platform, and we have hit 30 million uniques, which is a lot if you don't know those things. And it was all done organically. We did 0 paid promotion of content, and we had 30 million uniques in less than 2 years. We had more than 14,000 creators creating content on a weekly basis that averaged 40,000 pieces of content. We had more than 100 employees, and we were having a great time. And we were starting to work with clients that I could only dream of working with. Fortune 100, Fortune 500, Victoria's Secret Pink, Starbucks, although we did not get free Starbucks. And we're also being notarized in the community and in the industry as thought leaders, as people that are pushing not only good business, but good culture at the same time. And this was all done in less than 2 years, which is pretty insane while we were launching the platform. So much progress, and we were like, we really needed something to cap it off. We wanted something to work for. And then, this is supposed to be bigger. It's Nikki. But we raised $25 million in venture capital funding. $25 million. So you can say we celebrated a little bit. It was very exciting to get some money to like kind of really like verify and credibility of what it is. But even more so, what was exciting is that our lead investor, which is known in the industry, has had $2.5 billion in exits, wrote a LinkedIn post about us when he invested, and he said two things that really stuck with me. One is that it was the most exciting company that he had seen since investing in BuzzFeed, which that really sets the table high, right? But then more importantly, that Odyssey's business is strong, but it's the people that drew him to the business. So it really solidified that focusing on that culture really made a difference on our bottom line and just our overall happiness. So I know there's a lot of digital nomads in the group tonight, so not a lot of you are having larger companies or you're part of one. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you have to make culture a priority and to really trust your gut instinct. I don't care if you're hiring a freelancer, having a contractor, you're a contractor, or you're working in a company of 10,000. You have to trust your instinct, because at the end of the day, culture is king. So.
Thank you, Adrian.